Alright, so I am going to be unboxing this precision miter gauge from Craig. Got this from my local Menards today, and we're going to see how it looks. Got a thick, very thick, surprisingly thick manual. Looks like it's probably in just two different languages, so that's maybe why it's kind of thick. We have the stopper that came with the gauge, the measurement indicator thing, some hardware, handle, and a ruler. And then of course, the gauge itself. So it's seems pretty solid. None of it is made of plastic, which is nice. It looks like I'm going to be able to adjust to my miter slot perfectly. So if this happens to not fit, I'll be able to get the perfect fit. So I'll set that aside. And then, looks like the last piece we have in here is the fence. Again, is made out of metal, which is again really nice. I assume it's aluminum, so nice and sturdy. It's like extruded aluminum, I think is what they call that. So it's got a very nice blue Craig finish to it. So I'm gonna start putting this together, and I will be back. Okay, so the first step says, and it comes in the box like this, and so what it wants you to do is it wants you to set this to 0, and so we're going to get this set on the 0 mark and take this, what do they call it? They call it a 0 angle positive stop hole, and we want to insert this positioning pin. So we're going to put that in the 0, like that, and then it wants you to take this nylon washer with the handle, put the nylon washer on the handle, and then insert it into that threaded hole right here. Okay, so the next step it's having us do is taking these nylon threaded, let's see what they call them, nylon set screws is what they're calling these. So that's these black nylon set screws, and they are going to go in these holes on the side of the bar. So we got 5 holes there to fill, so we're going to fill that quick. It looks like the kit came with 7 of these nylon things, so but we're only going to use 5 for right now in the bar. Okay, so I got those nylon set screws, those 5 in there. This one was a little challenging because I couldn't really get it started that well with this plate kind of in the way, but I think it's kind of an unavoidable thing with the design. So the next step is we're going to be attaching the T-slot washer. So we're going to fasten the T-slot washer to the bottom face of the notch at the leading end of the guide bar with the flathead machine screw. Okay, flathead machine screw right here, I believe. And then it looks like we're going to be using this washer. It's kind of like the thicker one. There's another one in here that is smaller. And I believe we are using the bigger of the two. So let me get this on there, and we'll go to the next. All right, so now we are attaching or installing the fence glides. That is these little plastic pieces, plastic glides. So that's what we're looking for. 4 of those. I already installed them on the bottom of this. It says to install them 1 inch from each end, and then evenly between for the other 2. And so I found that, of course, 1 inch from the end on each one, and then approximately 8 1/4 from each end was pretty even spacing. So if you don't want to do the math yourself, I would just do the first one 1 inch from the end, the second one 1 inch from the end, do the third one 8 1/4 from the end, and the last one 8 1/4 from the end. So it gets me pretty darn close to evenly spaced. Okay, so the next thing we're going to be doing is attaching the actual fence to the miter gauge head. So these 2 pieces together. We're going to do that utilizing these 2 bolts. For me, it was the ones that were threaded all the way through continuously. So what you're going to do is stand this up so that the edge is facing away from you, so sitting up like this. And we're just going to slide these bolts into the T-track right here. And then I'm going to back this guy up on it, get some of the stuff out of the way, go through the holes, like that. And then we're going to use these handles, they're like these plastic handles, to secure to each other. Okay. Okay. Next, we're going to move on to adhering the measuring tape. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is make sure that this inset where the tape measure is going to lay is free of dust, is dry, all of that, so we can get it prepared to put the tape measure on. First thing that we're going to do with the tape is we're going to cut, this might be backwards, but we're going to cut at the 2-inch mark. And so the instructions specifically say cut the tape at the 1-inch mark. So we're going to cut the 1 inch, and that's what we're going to be left with. And then we're also going to cut this at the 25-inch. So at this point I'm kind of trusting the instructions and going to see if it works. So I'll check in with you and show you how this comes out. Okay, so you can see here that I cut at the 1-inch mark. So we got the 1-inch mark there, and then I cut at the 25-inch mark there. So I got this all stuck on. It went on pretty easy. So just take your time, make sure you're getting it flat. You don't want any bubbles in this. I think once it's stuck down, it's pretty stuck down. So on to the next step. Okay, so the next thing we're doing is we're gonna work on the swing stop. So we took this long bolt here that I just stuck through the hole. We have this brass washer, and then we have these two plastic black, what are they called? Fence stop bushings, I think is what they're calling them. So those go on each end of this. And then next thing it's calling for is the base, and that's slipping over here. We need another one of these bushings. So we'll put that on. So that's just going on there, slipping on there. And then we're putting this through. We need one more bushing on the end of this. And then a support button is what this guy's called. That goes on the inside here, on the inside in this little slot right there. So we'll get that guy in there. And then we're going to do another brass washer and then put the lock nut on. So that gets us with this all put together. There's a couple more steps in here, but I'll start another segment for the rest. Okay, so I got everything attached to the fence here, and all I had to do was take this T-slot and put it in the T-track and tighten it up, and then we put in the clear lens to show us where our measurement is, and then this nylon straight blade screw to hold it in. So those are the other two things that I was able to do. I also used a couple wrenches to tighten this bolt, enough so that there wasn't very much play side to side, but it could still freely move. So I'm gonna get this back on, and then we're going to start getting this set up ready to cut. Alrighty, so the next thing that we did is we positioned the blade from the end of the fence 5/8 away. So we did 5/8 away from the blade. We took out the pin and loosened this up and swung this in either direction as far as it could go to make sure it doesn't interfere with the blade. And once we confirmed that it doesn't interfere with the blade, we came in here and took our steel ruler again and put it up against the blade, set our stop to 3 inches down on the ruler, so you can see we're on the 3-inch mark there. We loosened this nylon and set it on the 3-inch mark, the red line, and secured the nylon screw to get everything set up. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to make a test cut at 3 inches. I'm going to measure it and see if it is accurate. I got everything set up and set this to 8 inches to make a test cut, and measured it, and it came out to exactly 8 inches. So it is perfectly calibrated, and now I'm going to move on to the actual project that I bought this for.